From One of One Production Studios, broadcasting from NYC, you are listening to Unexpected Success with your host, Joy.
Hey. So here we are, another episode of Unexpected Success with Joy. And in the studio today, we have Patrick McCook, founder and creative director of Mercy and Loyal. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm so excited because I've had the pleasure of knowing Patrick for, I guess, a little over maybe almost 15 years now.
Long time.
And we're still the same age.
Yeah. How did that happen?
How did that even happen? But no, I've throughout the course of our friendship, I've always been super inspired by you. You always, I feel like, figured out a way out of no way, and always had, made sure that you were, I guess, just, in a space beyond. And, so your latest venture of Mercy and Loyal, I just want to find out more about, how you came up with the concept, the name, and, just try to dig in. Patrick, hey. So I guess Mercy and Loyal, how'd you come up with the name? It's a really cool name.
Well, Mercy and Loyal reflects my life, more or less. I spent a lot of years making mistakes and thinking I was doing it right when I was really doing it wrong. So Mercy stands for forgive yourself, and Loyal is to commit to the new. So that's how I came up with the term Mercy and Loyal. Actually, I was in church.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the pastor was talking about having mercy for yourself, on yourself, and I just felt like that reflected my whole life.
That's awesome. So it's mostly just forgiveness, forgiving yourself for whatever, transpired in the past, and just kind of moving forward,
yes.
Progression,
yes.
Growth.
Yes, so I can grow. Yeah, let it go, and move forward.
That's really, really, really awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it's so inspirational to listeners. Now, in terms of, I guess, tell us more about you. Like, where are you from?
Yeah. So I'm originally born in Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
But I grew up in New York for the most part of my life. Lived in Queens, lived in Brooklyn,
Queens?
Bushwick. Yeah, Queens, over in St. Albans, Long Island City.
Right.
And now I live in Los Angeles. I've been in LA for the last 8 years.
Which is just crazy to think that it's been 8 years since you left New York.
Yeah, it's been 8 years, yes. I've been there for 8 years. While I was out there in LA, I had a son when I was in LA. So that was probably the real reason I stayed that long. I didn't think I would stay that long in LA, to be honest. It was such a major change. It's not like New York was bad to me.
Right.
New York was good to me. So, I lived a good life in New York, and I enjoyed New York. And going to LA was like a complete different lifestyle, but I had my son, and I couldn't leave him, and come back to New York. So I ended up staying, adapting to the Los Angeles lifestyle, and
you're better off for it. I think that,
so.
I think it's been good to you.
Yeah, I think so. I think I had to step away from New York.
Right.
New York. New York could give you an edge.
We know it all too well.
Yeah, New York can give you an edge and kind of stagnate you as well, because in New York, we tend to think in New York we are the alpha and the omega.
Right.
Right. We tend to think it's all about New York, and when you step outside of New York, you realize it really isn't.
Right. Or at least it is a different perspective.
Different perspective. Right.
Right.
Whereas when you're in New York, in the New York state of mind, as people say, it's just all about, it's just this New York thing.
It's interesting. So, I mean, I guess, I've noticed a difference in you since you've gone west, and, you've become a lot more, I guess, spiritual.
Yeah.
So and clearly you're an entrepreneur, and you've been successful. And are you by yourself, or you're the only? I mean, well, you're the boss. Do you have any partners, or
no partners?
No partners. So, I mean, I'm an entrepreneur. I know how hard it is to get up in the morning, and it's hard to get up in the morning when you have partners. So I can only imagine if you didn't have a partner, no one
very hard,
nagging you to get up. Yeah. So what motivates you? Like, how do you stay inspired?
The love for what I'm doing.
Right. So tell us more about Mercy and Loyal.
Yeah, I'm in love with Mercy and Loyal. No, I really am.
Clearly,
clearly.
Yeah,
I'm in love with it.
Right.
I just love fashion, first of all, because
So Mercy Law is a fashion line. Just to kind of backtrack.
Yeah.
It's a fashion line. Is it unisex? Is it menswear?
So right now we're currently doing menswear, contemporary, and we're working on women's wear, spring 2019.
Is it made in China? Is it made in the States?
Majority of it's made in Los Angeles, and
Okay.
our knits are made in China.
Okay.
But the majority of our product is made in the United States.
Okay. All right. Cool. And so it's like streetwear? Or is it like
Streetwear.
Streetwear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Casual wear.
Okay.
Streetwear. Yeah.
So so are you just in a grind now? Like, so, what's like if you had to, like, I guess, define your line, if you had to, like, think about a pinpoint one particular style, how would you pinpoint? Like, just kind of comfortable, casual?
Casual, luxury, comfortable. I think time has changed so much. The days of the suit and tie are gone, and
right.
people
especially for an entrepreneur, like, you can go to work in jeans and a shirt, and as long as you're neat and comfortable, you can walk into any meeting.
Yes.
Right.
And then people are much more social, so nobody's confined to an office anymore.
Right.
So people want to look cool, yet still they don't want to look too street. They don't want to look inappropriate.
Right.
But they still want to look cool in the office. The Mark Zuckerbergs,
right. Absolutely.
These young, very highly successful business people that, like you look at Mark Zuckerberg, for example, he's always in a black shirt or in a hoodie and
comfortable.
Yes.
So, and I know that, today I think they announced that Virgil Abloh, like, he just became the creative director at Louis Vuitton.
I saw that.
And so I just think that in general, people realize, or rather fashion houses realize the importance of having to have, like, a comfortable streetwear.
Wear.
You know what I mean? Like, everyday casual. Yes. But, well done. Clearly, right? So you walk in and you're neat, but also something that speaks to this generation.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So how do you start your day? Like, what do you think that you're like? What are your keys to success?
Oh, great question. So I wake up like 5:30 in the morning, between 5:30 and 6 a.m. in the morning. I literally spend my first 30 minutes doing meditation, and then.
Now, when did you always meditate? I know you didn't meditate in New York.
No, I didn't.
See, this is that LA lifestyle, right? You guys get up and I like.
It is. Yeah, not at all. So when I first started meditating, so I was in the cool. Like, I thought I was a cool guy.
Right.
I felt weird, sitting in a certain pose and whatever.
Right. Now, do you meditate lying down, sitting up? Like, what's your
way? It depends. It all depends. How I got into meditation was through yoga. First of all, I started practicing yoga. I practice like 2-3 times a week. Sometimes I'll practice every day for the week. It depends.
Now, you're a pretty tall guy. So yoga? How did that happen?
Yoga. How did it happen? Great question. I'm trying to think back.
Which girl? Which girlfriend was that?
How did it happen?
She must have been hot. She must have been dope.
Well, yeah. Well, no, here's the thing. So, honestly, how I got into yoga was, so I was doing CrossFit at the time, and I was in great shape, and I was really strong, but I wasn't mobile or agile, and I wanted to, become flexible, become mobile, and I figured yoga was a great way to get there. So initially, I thought yoga was just stretching,
Right.
And it's so far from that.
So which yoga do you practice specifically?
I do a vinyasa yoga.
You do vinyasa.
Yeah,
which is more fast moving, right? It's not like the posy.
No,
it's not very posy.
No. Although some instructors will have you hold it like a warrior 2 for like 2 minutes. You can hold a warrior 2, and that's
okay. I've actually never done vinyasa. I do Bikram occasionally, but
hot yoga.
Yeah.
I tried that before. Actually, I had a Bikram date. So my date was
it always
doing
leads
Bikram.
back to the girl.
I had a Bikram date, and I went and did Bikram yoga. I hated it.
Right.
Although it's good for someone like me because it loosens me up, and like I have tight hips. I'm pretty flexible every other way, but I have tight hips, and Bikram's good for someone like myself, but it's too hot. It's way too hot.
Yeah, no. Bikram is pretty tough, and it's relentless, right?
Yes,
Because it's
yes.
like there's no relief. You
Right.
get those moments
Absolutely.
where you can kind of like lay down for a second and then like up again.
Yeah, yeah. Bikram's tough.
No, it's tough,
Yoga
it's
in
tough.
general is a tough practice, but you know what yoga does teach you is yoga is so good for you. So what it will teach you is be in an uncomfortable pose or position, right? But still be able to focus in that uncomfortable situation,
Right.
Right? Which is life, right? Translate to life, where you learn to focus when things aren't going as you thought they were, which
Right.
it never goes as you thought they would. So yoga has taught me that, and through yoga you start meeting like really focused, really inspiring people. And I had some really good friends that just kind of introduced me to meditation,
Right,
and,
right.
and like just practicing certain type of, I guess people would call it spirituality. Just start practicing and introducing me to certain things, and it just wore on me, you know.
So I mean, so you clearly associated yourself with people who can inspire you
Absolutely.
and people who are doing kind of like who are
Absolutely.
like-minded.
Absolutely.
And so would you think
Deliberately
that's like
done.
so basically, so essentially you're saying that, the people that you've surrounded yourself with have kind of inspired you to a higher place,
Yes,
right? And you're
absolutely.
continuing your progression through that place.
Absolutely.
I guess talk to old friends when they're like, "Hey, P, like, what's up?" And you don't really know what to talk to them about because they are still at the same place that you left them and you've progressed. How do you deal with them?
Great question. So I'll take control of the conversation or of the vibe. Meaning, if it's something that's not fruitful or positive or encouraging, I'll kind of shift the conversation that way.
Right.
And if I realize the conversation just can't get there, and this person's stuck
Right.
on 5 years or 10 years ago, then hey, I gotta go. I'm just being
Right.
honest.
You are.
I'll call you back. But for the most part, everyone. Listen, we all want to grow, and
Right.
everyone wants positivity. So I've never honestly had a problem getting someone to, or having a problem shifting a conversation into a positive vibe or an encouraging vibe. Like, what are you doing with yourself? And giving somebody encouraging words or receiving encouraging words. I love to receive encouraging words.
Right.
So I haven't had that problem, to be honest.
Well, that's awesome. I know that I've definitely run across it. And so, and a lot of times, you speak to people who, get stuck because their friends or their family are not supportive of
Yeah.
their progression.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a shame when
Yeah.
you see people with huge potential who just surround themselves around people who just don't support
Yeah,
their vision.
it's everyone's problem.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of, strength and
Yeah.
to just kind of move past it and just push forward. So I mean, I guess I don't want to we don't want to podcast for too long, but I mean, and you and I can talk for like literally ever.
Absolutely, yes, yes.
What advice would you impart to someone who basically is trying to figure out their way and trying to figure out how to progress their life and how to be inspired? What would you actually give them as advice?
A couple of things. First and foremost, get to know yourself. Understand who you are.
And how do you do that? Through meditation?
Well, that might not be for everyone.
Right.
Everyone has a different source, different path to getting to understand themselves. I don't want to say through meditation. I would definitely
Recommend it.
recommend it, but that might not be for everyone. But get to know yourself, understand what you do love, and pursue what you love, and also learn a lot.
Right. And so, and I know that, some people that I've spoken to have encouraged like watching videos on YouTube
Yeah,
or like
whatever
whatever it is,
learn.
learn.
Yes,
right.
learn.
Whatever their craft is.
Like, I live in LA now, and so I own a factory as well where we manufacture our own goods domestically. So on my drive to my factory, which is like South LA, it takes me literally like 45 minutes, sometimes an hour just to get there because of traffic.
I hear about LA traffic.
Yeah, LA
right.
traffic is crazy. So that time, I'm not turning on Power 106 or Pandora Radio.
Right.
I'm listening to podcasts. I'm listening to
How?
Yes, YouTube. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. I'm listening to YouTube channels. Whatever. I'm just trying to learn and study industry books, things like that. I read a lot. I love to read, and things I read don't necessarily have anything to do with like my industry. Like, I just finished reading How Democracy Dies, which was amazing.
How Democracy Dies?
Yeah.
And who's that by?
Oh,
You don't know. But it's
I
okay,
do know.
But Where Democracy Dies.
How Democracy Dies.
How Democracy Dies. And what's that about? Is it, I mean, it's all political?
It's definitely political. It's just about, our current state, where we are.
Right, which is just mania.
Yeah.
It's just manic. Every single day is like 10 headlines. And so what we'll do is that we'll literally all of the people that you're mentioning, we'll put links on the Facebook and our YouTube channel, and just kind of make sure that everyone can follow up on some of these people.
To be honest, that's why I'm giving you these names.
Right. So we'll definitely
absolutely.
We'll put everything up on our channel so
Yeah.
that people can kind of
Yeah.
dig in. And
You should.
if you are truly serious about changing your life and starting
Absolutely.
your journey, then we'll give you resources to be able to pursue that.
Yeah, absolutely. And
awesome.
Yeah. And yeah.
All right, great. So we can go on and hopefully we can have you back.
Okay.
Because we have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
I just kind of like pounced on you because I knew you were in New York, and I'm like, oh my God, you're in New York. I'm gonna pounce.
I know.
Once I pounce, I pounce. So thanks so much for coming on, and hope to have you back.
Thank
and this
you.
is Patrick McCook, Mercy and Loyal. He is the founder and creative director of currently a men's fashion line, but soon to be
Women's wear
as well, and
yes.
it's super fly and well curated. So we'll put obviously the website and everything on our channel as well, and support.
Okay.
All right, and
Great.
keep winning, P.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
This podcast was brought to you by 23DB Productions, ID Productions, and One of One Productions. For more information, go to Facebook and Instagram, Unexpected Success with Joy.